What's up, folks? It's Mickle here. Today you're joining me from the fabulous Palm Beach, Florida. I'm at the Cavallino Festival. On the high end, we say Cavallino. On the low end, we say it's a Ferrari party. It is a fabulous event out here. I'm just gonna flip the camera around in just a moment. But the reason I'm doing this video today is I thought back on the times when I couldn't come to events like this. When I wasn't coming to hotels that cost like this one costs, and you can see some of the hotel in the backdrop. Some of the beautiful cars are worth millions of dollars. Dining here is obviously very expensive. Staying here is very expensive. It's just a very exclusive way to live. But I didn't forget how I got here. And one of the things I want to do is expose a little bit about what some of the things that helped me along the way. Hopefully it will help you all along the way as well. And I think there was one big sort of difference. One thing I did that I could have did much earlier. I think back to my 17-year-old self when I made $3.35 in 1989 as an employee in Burger King. That was my first job. If I knew then what I know now, events like this would have been much more popular and much more, or should I say not popular, they would have been possible much earlier in my life. And so what I like to do is tell you what one of the key business decisions are that I would have made earlier on. And I think it'll help you along. But what I'm going to do is set it to the backdrop of the Ferraris, because that's why we're here today at the Cavallino Festival. And as I talk and explain what that is, I think it's much easier and lighter on your eyes if I focus on the cars and less myself. So with that, I'm gonna turn the camera around and I'll tell you what I think would have changed my game a lot earlier had I known then, and I know now what I knew then, or what I knew now if I would have known then. So let's get into it. All right, so as I said, folks, again, when I was 17, working at Burger King, making $3.35 an hour, as we look at the Ferrari F80. This is one of the premier new Ferraris. It is very sleek, very clean. I think they only make about 800 of them. Starting price is probably going to be north of $4 million. You'll see the carbon fiber everywhere. The doors will go in an alternative style similar to what Lamborghini does, or sort of your gold wing doors. You can see the lines in the carbon fiber, what that'll do. The color is beautiful, by the way. Looking at the rims, I mean, look at that. You have your traditional yellow calipers, your Ferrari prancing horse there. You can even see the tire size. These are looks like Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tires. Very low profile, very low to the ground. I mean, look at the air intakes there. Even the air intake coming up front, very aerodynamic. You can see, I can even see to the grass there with the air intake. I'm sure this has spent so much time in a tunnel to where you can see how the air intake flows across. Everything done on purpose. You can see the pony here, even looking down into the seats. Even to the steering wheel, just a menacing work of art that instead of being put on a wall, you can drive it and have fun. I'm sure whoever owns this vehicle is not going to take it out much at all. It will be an instant collector's item. So that's the Ferrari F80. We have so many beautiful Ferraris on display. We have the 2003 Enzo. I actually met the owner of this car back in 2012. He completely took it all apart, completely reassembled. So you can see with the gold wing doors out there. Again, 2003 Enzo, that's if it's the same owner. These cars do tend to change hands at a premium. But very nice. So getting back to what I would have done differently as we get inside and take a very intimate look at this thing, I would have started an LLC. 4,400 miles on this car, so very, very rarely driven. I would have started an LLC, limited liability company, even at 17, making $3.35 an hour. It was not about what you're making, but as opposed to what you're doing with it. Being at an event like this today, you're around the highest of the high class. It's nice to be around events where everybody's well-to-do, because not so much the money, but the knowledge that you gain here, how they move, what they look like, what they're wearing, what they eat, what they're talking about. It's very easy at my 17-year-old self to think I know what a millionaire looks like, and that's not it. And even today, these are not typical millionaires. I'm not even saying you have to be that F-150 driving millionaire next door, although I do have an F-150. But it's not what I thought it is. This is the glitz, this is the glamour of it, but you still need to know how this crowd moves. So when I was 17, had I started an LLC, again, getting back to the point of this video, you have a cell phone 9 times out of 10. In fact, I'm even shooting this video with my mobile phone. I have a Galaxy Fold flip phone. I have it out in wide camera mode. You have a cell phone, which means you have a cell phone bill. 2014 Ferrari, very nice. You have a cell phone bill. You have clothes, which means you have a clothing bill. You put gas in a car, perhaps you have a car. You go to events, might be a concert. You download apps. You go to restaurants. So many expenses you're going to have, whether you have a business or not. But here's the thing, when you have an LLC, sorry, looking at the carbon fiber there. When you have an LLC, you get to write those expenses off against your income. So let's just say you make $20,000 a year. Nice drop of the backdrop of the Breakers Hotel, very nice. Even if you make $20,000 a year, and let's just say it's 20%, let's say they take $4,000 from you in taxes. Well, if you don't have an LLC, there's nothing you can do about it. But if you have an LLC, the different types of expenses you have, you can write those things off and get some of that money back. Now, being here today is a very expensive event. One ticket for this event was almost $700. Breakfast, $50. Parking, well, actually, I was a VIP client, so I didn't have to pay for parking today, and I'm parked right up front. To stay at this beautiful hotel, the Breakers in Palm Beach, you can easily spend $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a night. And again, I'm not suggesting that you can do that right now as a small wage hourly employee. The point is, these expenses that I'm incurring, I'm gonna write a lot of this stuff off. I'm out here for business today. I'm meeting a business client, so we're gonna talk. He's a car fan, I'm a car fan. He's a Lamborghini guy, I'm a Lamborghini guy, but I appreciate what Ferrari is. Things like the F80, some of the other cars that you see here. We have a nice ensemble playing music for us. It is a beautiful, gorgeous day in January. So I'm having a good time, but the point is, I'm gonna write a lot of these expenses off. And you really need to know how to do this, because you start to ask yourself other questions. You start to roll with the crowd that asking similar questions. I was out here yesterday and I was talking to a couple of gentlemen that owned a trucking company. They had a conference here. Now, you wouldn't think of 18-wheelers or 18-wheeler owners in this type of setup. The gentleman I was talking to had a small company. I can't tell what that is, but that's very nice. But he had about 15 rigs, had them out delivering produce and such. And what he wanted to do was grow. So it's like, okay, how do I grow that business? And I told him, and he'd already knew, which is why he was here, you're not gonna grow a business like that organically, meaning going from truck 15 to truck 16. We were talking about things such as driving deadhead, meaning that you deliver your product and then you might have to drive your truck back to wherever your location is with nothing on it. He was explaining to me how a lot of trucks run deadhead, especially produce. Again, you wouldn't associate that type of work with a place like this, but it's business. So he was here for a conference to talk about mergers and acquisitions, meaning that instead of growing from trucking company number 15 and 16, he can buy a business and maybe acquire 15 more trucks. So he jumps from 15 to 65 in one fell swoop. So people think that you grow big by just going organic growth, one after another, but no. You grow by acquisition, and you have to understand things like that. So when you start LLCs, you get your mindset in those types of scenarios. You start to see how to become a big boy is not an organic thing. But if I would have started an LLC earlier in my years, even as a teenager, things just move a lot faster when you change your mindset. Now, notice the crowd here. Look at the color of these people's skin. I'm a black man. You see many black people out here? You do not. Because, unfortunately, a lot of my people tend to have a fear of the uber wealth. They all want it. They see it in the rap videos. They see it in the ridiculous shows, the housewives, although that's just entertainment. Nothing against the housewives. I got nothing against those people. But this is a complete opportunity to open to so many people. But when I come to events like this, when I'm doing yachting, I don't see my people here. And I wish I would see more of that as we take a look at this beautiful, I don't even know what this is. Ferrari 12 Cilindri. I've never even seen this, never heard of it. You're seeing it for the first time, just like I am. Look at the beautiful interior and such. Very nice. It's a spider, so that means that press a button and the roof comes back. Very nice car. But anyway, as I was saying, I tend not to see my people here. And this is not an edited video. I'm not editing anything. You're seeing this real life just like I am. I'd love to see more black folks out here, but I just don't. And you can't tell me black people don't have $700, because I've seen them spend that in a pair of Jordans. Nothing against Michael Jordan. But hey, Mike got his. I don't watch every football game. Patrick Mahomes got his. Lamar Jackson got his. Deshaun Watson, whether you like him or not, he got his. When you're on the come up, you got to be around come up type of people. And that's what we have here. So again, going back, if I could tell my 17-year-old self different things, I would have started an LLC. I would have started reading books to talk about business, ownership, tax advantages. I could have taken my income tax return and come to events like this, because I assure you in 1989, this event did not cost $700 to get into. Maybe it was 2 checks, but I didn't know anybody. Or no, let me get real. I didn't know nobody that knew nobody that knew nobody that even remotely thought of knowing anybody. I got to give props to Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. Robin Leach for putting these thoughts in my head. You know what I would have given to be at an event like this? All that stuff was very deeply buried down inside of me that I would want to come to events. I didn't know how to get here. There was no path. I didn't know what Palm Beach was till I started reading books. People like Robert Frank writing books like Richistan and getting me introduced to the world of yachting. Those types of things. Classic Ferrari there. But I hope you're gaining insight on my mental, my understanding, how things changed for me. It was the LLC. If I would have known then what I know now, even as a $3.35 an hour employee at Burger King, my entire trajectory would have changed tremendously. Now this is also one of my favorite Ferraris here. I've been looking for this one for a long time. This is also about 4 million plus, but you can't even get your hands on it. You're seeing it live for the first time, such as myself. Looks like someone from New Jersey has this one. This is insane. Again, your carbon fiber over the engine there. You can see it there. I mean, look at that. They've gotten some really slick interior. See your carbon fiber here, tailor-made. Your fire tank. And then you got the racing seat, but in a very luxurious leather style. This is the 2023 Daytona SP3. And it is sick. I think just after the Ferrari F80, this is clearly one of my favorites, or should I say is my favorite. Now again, these Ferrari, the F80 and this Daytona, these are not going to be Ferraris you're just going to run out and get. You can get yourself into the 458 crowd. I've raced a few 458s, 488, maybe a 360 Modena, but like the F series, your F1, F40, F80, those types of things, these Daytona SP3s, you got to have been on Ferrari's love list for many years to get yourself to be in the conversation to even get a car like that. So I'm okay with it. I'm okay with seeing it at a place like this. I don't need to see it every day. But again, just a very nice event. I like these types of events. We've had a freeze that has come through the United States, one of the more classic ones here. It's cold up north. Washington, New York, New Jersey, Maine, New Hampshire, Rhode Island. It is frigid cold out in the west, Missouri, St. Louis, Chicago. But down here in Palm Beach, it is a beautiful 72 degrees in late January 2025. Very few places I'd rather be than in the sunshine and the palm trees. A nice hotel sitting on the ocean front, the waves breaking as they come in. Perhaps why they even call this place the Breakers Hotel. Very storied history of places like this. All these cars take gas. Start thinking Exxon, Mobil. Henry Flagler, the guy who put Palm Beach together, this small island right down the street, is the new president of the United States, Donald Trump. I've been to his home many times to car shows like this. But again, very few places I'd rather be in the winter than down here. There's a lot of Americans here. There's also a lot of foreigners here. Right now, we're not getting a big rap. I don't want to get too far off the beaten path of talking automobiles, but let's just skirt off in the politics row for just a moment. Vivek Ramaswamy, very sharp young man, backed Trump, but he caught a lot of heat recently for what he said about Americans, and just a very costly mistake. So let's get off that politics before YouTube has a problem with that, because this is certainly not anything to promote politics, just calling what I'm seeing here. But anyway, back to the cars. Very nice. Very nice way to spend the day, to check out these types of vehicles. The Spiders, the one the tops come down, then the others. But again, I would also have learned about investments and not so much individual stocks, although there's not a ton wrong with them. But as a younger man, I wish I would have got into that game. Wish I would have learned what the S&P index fund, Dow Jones Industrial Average, all those types of things. I wish I would have learned as a young man at 17. As you see, The Bentley coming in here. It looks like a, of course I can't think of the name right off the top of my head, but very beautiful Bentley. A V8 version. So go ahead and wrap it up. I think 18 minutes or 20, 19 minutes, whatever we've been talking is long enough. So I'll go ahead and sign off. From the mobile home to where moguls roam, I am Anthony Mickle. Activate Gorilla Grind mode. Let's work.